Not great news once again for Donald Trump and this issue of having undocumented workers involved with his various organizations. Remember this story about Trump's own wife, Melania Trump, who it appears, based on the story she told of being modeling in the US, but having to leave to Slovenia, reapply for a visa and come back, etc. The way she described her visa indicates she had a visa that did not authorize her to work in the United States. Every indication that Melania Trump was working in the United States illegally. Of course, now the wife of the candidate who is going to fix the entire illegal immigration problem. We've now heard from Rachel Blais, who's a former Trump model management model. She was on CNN yesterday morning, and she told a very similar story about her involvement in modeling and her lack of authorization, no work visa, for quite a bit of time that she was doing work. Let's take a look at Rachel Blais's own words here.
Simply can't do it. You have to have work authorization.
Right. So, Rachel, that brings us to you. You worked with the Trump model management for 3 years. What was your experience in terms of how you got into the country and whether or not you had the right visa?
I definitely didn't have the visa. I got in April 2004, and I only got the visa in September 2004. And between April and August 2004, I spent most of my time in New York and worked and did a lot of jobs to which they deducted taxes. But I didn't have a visa until September. I didn't actually start the visa process until August.
And so you say that it's sort of normal in the industry and that models know not to ask too many questions, but was there something different about the Trump model management agency where they skirted the rules even more so than other places that you worked?
Yes, I mean, I worked with a different agency when I left Trump, and they got me my visa straight away. Some girls get it quite quickly, but it's quite a spread out way of working for agencies to not have girls coming in with a work visa. But for example, that summer in New York, we were about 7 foreign models in that apartment, at least during that.
So there's a number of stories here. Number one is the fact that this is exactly the same type of problem that is alleged involving Melania Trump. So it's not as though we're hearing completely different stories about the people involved with Trump organizations and modeling and visas, et cetera, et cetera. This is basically the same story. Mother Jones profiled 4 former Trump management models, and one of them was Rachel Blais, and a couple of the others who go by the names Anna and Kate, but these are pseudonyms, and they spoke on the condition of anonymity, said they never obtained their visas while working in the United States, and that actually they were encouraged by Trump's agency to deceive customs officials about why they were visiting the United States. That in and of itself, if true, would be completely criminal. This should be a campaign ender, but it continues. And it is absolutely stunning that Donald Trump has had numerous issues now. We now know about multiple models with the exact same story working illegally in the United States. We know about the 200 undocumented Polish workers who were involved in the demolition for a Donald Trump real estate project. This is a real issue. And it's yet one of the other ways, Rachel, in which what Trump's policy is seems to directly contradict what it is he has done in his life.
Right. So he's kind of concocted this platform that essentially contradicts all of his business practices. And it makes me think, okay, are you going to start a war on all of your ties and suits, a trade war, because your ties and suits were made in Mexico? So are you, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's the exact same thing where he's the guy who's going to bring back the production that has been outsourced to Mexico and to China, wherever. Let's put aside for a second that a lot of those jobs no longer exist. He's the guy who sent some of those jobs to Mexico and China on issue after issue, Jason. It seems as though Donald Trump is just saying what he thinks he should say to get elected, even though it directly contradicts everything he's actually done in life. He's saying, I will do as I am saying today I will do, not as I have done for the last 30 years of my business career.
I think Trump likes his women like his businesses originating out of the country.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. And then, of course, we know about Trump University. That seems to have been a complete scam. And there's one other thing I want to touch on here. Towards the end of that interview, Rachel Blais referenced there were 7 or 8 of us or something living in this New York apartment. Even the way, this is like a common way that models are brought to the US and really not treated well, which is in addition to the fact that they are brought here and told to lie to customs and work illegally. They are given these apartments where they do pay rent, 7, 8, 9, 10, crammed into a 1-bedroom New York apartment, completely common story, no work visas. And of course, the management agency then keeps a cut of the modeling income that they get from the projects that Trump or whoever it is that's managing their modeling careers get. This is also a scam that it appears the Trump model management was involved in, which is, of course, not unique to Trump. This is a common modeling scam that exists. But even that, it seems, as yet another element of Trump's very shady business practices, doesn't it?
Right. Well, he was just trying to bring in as much revenue as possible. So if that's going to kind of subject these models to completely inhabitable conditions, he's going to do it.
Yeah, and it seems as though this is the trend with Donald Trump. Every single credential that he claims to have is not that. We've uncovered that just sitting in index funds, he would have a higher net worth than he has now from all of the great business deals that he's done. Well, by doing nothing and sitting around, he would have more money. Would he have created as many jobs? Well, depends on how many jobs you believe the guy created. I think that that's absolutely part of it. Very, very disturbing. And again, if the story's drastically conflicted, I would be way more skeptical. But when Rachel Blais, Jason, tells us the exact same story that has been seemingly uncovered about Melania Trump and that 3 other former models have corroborated, of course, innocent until proven guilty. But as reasonable people who are evaluating the allegations, we don't really have any mitigating evidence, do we?
Yeah, I was listening to an interesting news story on NPR on the way in, and they were talking about basically how people predict, in the base of elections, how people predict sports games. And if you look at the details, like one detail, look at these very single details for a single game, you're never going to be really right. But if you look at, let's say, a track record that someone has and the things they build up over time, that's what you really have to look at here. He's building a track record of always saying one thing and doing another. His words do not match his actions.
No doubt about it. And the saddest part is that because he's run his campaign on appealing to low information voters and in a very emotional way, these things are really just not sticking. And hopefully they'll have a cumulative effect as we get into the debates and closer to November. But individually, no one incident seems to have hurt him overwhelmingly, although certainly attacking that Gold Star dad did not help by any means. Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I personally wear Warby Parker glasses when I'm not wearing my contact lenses. And I also started with one of these free at-home try-ons of 5 pairs of glasses. You can get your free home try-on and support the David Pakman Show at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I don't really like going into glasses stores and trying on glasses while the salesperson sort of hovers over me. And I like more than 30 seconds to actually figure out whether I like the glasses. So with the Warby Parker home try-on, I was able to pick 5 pairs that I liked, put them on in the comfort of my own home, pick the one I like the most, and then Warby Parker put my prescription lenses in there for me. A lot of people don't know that the eyeglass industry is controlled by just a few big corporations that keep prices very high, like $300 for prescription glasses high, which is just insane. Warby Parker glasses start at $95. That's what mine cost. And for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses to someone in need. You can try 5 pairs and see what you like. Check out the at-home trial and support our show by going to warbyparker.com/TDPS. It costs nothing.